What's that? Sorry, I missed you there.
Oh, no, I've got you now.
Oh yeah, cool,
Yeah,
perfect,
yeah. So how have you been?
good mate, going good. Got a big marathon next week, so yeah, getting the body prepared for that, which has been a bit of a tedious task, but
Yeah,
it's yeah something different to look forward to.
I seen your wee media page and it was pretty cool. I was like, I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh yeah, the funny video. Yeah, nah, something
Yeah,
different to try and no, I'm raising donations for a like an organisation over here that's sort of like a community based club that gives opportunities to kids and families. So that's who I'm running it for. So yeah, it was just a bit of a marketing push.
yeah. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Send me the link and I'll try and put it up on our page and stuff like that. How's that?
oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. No, I
That'd be
appreciate
cool.
that.
Because I think
Yeah.
I shared your post on my own Facebook page. So
Oh yeah, I saw that. Thanks very much. No, any of that stuff helps. Spread a bit of awareness. So yeah, it's only 6 days away now. So
uh,
yeah, that's all right.
I'm looking forward to see how you get on.
Yeah, I'm not. That's all right. Yeah, that'd be,
So hey,
that'd-
we'll get into the rugby. And I take it you've seen the games and had a wee nosy and.
yeah, mate. Yeah,
So gives your opinion on whichever game you want to start with.
yeah. Are you gonna do an intro or just rip straight in?
We're already going. So sweet. Let's
Brilliant.
jump into it.
That that was the intro. There you go.
It was the intro.
Nah. It was a good, I think a really good round of club rugby. I'm enjoying sort of watching them all on Sunday here.
Yeah.
Um, and just well, actually, would it be Sunday here? Yeah, it would be Sunday here, and doing a bit of a recap. And I always go through and look at the tries first. Always love to watch the tries first. That's always the best part of it, of course.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just pulling up all of
Because
the
because
results last
yeah,
week.
because I go through all the tries because I do the highlights
Yeah.
and you get a rough idea of how it is. And so yeah, no, it's pretty cool to see how close the games were this weekend too, especially, the university game. That was very close.
Yeah, University v Tari was a real close one, and I was tracking the live scoring there on the ODT website. That's yeah, and I know the RFU website's got it as well. And there was a lot of score changes in that game, and the students were ahead comfortably at one point in the game, and then Tari with their natural resilience just bounced back. But no, I mean the Funga brothers were really impressive in that win. I know that Tari had Michael Loft playing as well, who's the Taranaki flanker, and he was really impressive for them as well. Varsity had Tane Robinson from the Highlanders at 10,
Yeah.
and steered a good ship for them. But I think this varsity side has the potential to go all the way. I think for them it's just about how do we hang on to that lead and make sure that they can close out games efficiently? Because when you're playing against teams like Tyree, they're not going to go away for 80 minutes, and that showed on Saturday.
Yeah, no, it did as well. What other game did you have a nosy at?
Well, I watched them all absolutely. I think Green Island far too strong for a Alhambra Union. I think it was 59-20 was the final score, and Michael Manson scored I think 5 tries or maybe it was 4 in the end for Green Island, and I mean all of those tries were some pretty sublime individual efforts. I think he's just got absolute raw speed, and that's really what you want from those Highlanders players is them going and dominating club rugby, and I guess it sets those kind of players apart from the rest. And no, Manson was on absolute fire, which was great to see, and Green Island, similar to last year, off to a really red hot start to
Yeah,
the season. And I know Finchy was on the show not long ago, and their depth maybe tested, particularly in the front row at some parts of the season. But it looks like they've definitely got some guys that are doing the job at the moment. And for
yeah,
Alhambra Union, it's a pretty tough pill to swallow when you're losing your first few games by large numbers. So I think for them it'll be how do they turn a corner and find some motivation to continue to put on
yeah.
improvements.
Yeah, well, that talk I had with JT about Alhambra and where they're looking to improve, like I think at the beginning of that game against GI, they competed and got their nose in front.
Yeah,
But like as they said, it's the depth, holding on to those sorts of things, and I think they'll learn a bit more out of it. It's good to see them actually competing for 20 to 30 minutes. That's what they need. That's what they need to focus on, and I think they'll just I think they'll surprise a few people later on during the season. You
Yeah,
know,
no,
when people's teams are struggling for depth, you know, when the Highlanders are not around or their best players. So they
yeah,
have the potential to win a couple of games. I'll take it. So hey, we'll see what happens with those guys. So I was out at the Harbour game, Zingaree Harbour. Um,
yeah.
that was a real interesting game for me. Two different performances from both sides. Two different performances from Harbour as well, from the week before to this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Harbour. I mean, it's always a tough place to play, isn't there, out at Port Chalmers, Watson Park? But yeah, that's a really convincing win. It was 41 points to 12. I've got here as the final score, and
Yep.
Harbour, it looks like they've made some real growth in their particularly from pre-season and just the way that they've shaped things up this season. And I'm only looking at it from an outside lens, but just what they're doing through social media and some of the work there is really, really impressive. And obviously they've added a number of really strong signings. I really like the look of their 10. Milne, I think his last name is. He drives a really, really good ship for them. And I mean, they had Nathan Hasty on the weekend as well, who sped up the ball and gave them some pretty top quality opportunities. Taylor Dale as well was really impressive in the forwards. So, no, I mean, Zingaree, that's, I guess, two back-to-back losses for them against the Bookworms, and then Harbour, and I know they've got a big game against Southern this week. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they can turn that around. But I think in the end, Harbour were just too fast, and I wouldn't say too big because Zingaree certainly have size, but I think they were just too fast, which is not usually something you'd say about Harbour. They look to be a really fit, conditioned team this year.
Yeah, yeah. Zingaree, they blew four chances on the line.
Yep.
So that didn't help them at all. I think one of the guys, one of the winger dived for the line, cover tackle, and just knocked the ball out. You know, there was 99% of the time they would have scored that. So in that second half, to watch Harbour work hard on defence as a team, and as you're talking about their first five, Rico, I had a chat to him, I watched him, and how he's moving that team around for a young guy in his 20s,
Yeah.
like he's doing really well. So,
Absolutely, it makes such a difference when you've got that 10 jersey locked down with someone who can really orchestrate the team around the field, from a kicking and I guess set piece point of view. So
yeah,
I've heard big raps on him from over here that he could potentially be a guy to put his hand up for NPC selection in the future. So
yeah,
um, yeah, that's really awesome. And yeah, I mean Zingaree always going to be there or thereabouts in the upcoming rounds as well. So they'll bounce back.
yeah. And so we'll move on to Kike and Dunedin. That was another very close game as well.
Yeah, it certainly was up at Bishop's Court, and I watched the rugby chat during the week with Paul Dwyer, and Hunts was talking about how they had about 13 debutants or something around that number across the first couple of rounds, and for them to pull a win out against a pretty experienced Dunedin Sharks side was very impressive there, and I think. Again, Kaikarai display a lot of the same characteristics that Tyree do. Like they're a side that just don't give up. They'll play right till the whistle, and probably that game against Green Island was very unkiker like. They sort
Yep.
of just played into a few of their own areas and took their foot off the throttle. But yeah, against Dunedin the weekend, they were working really, really hard, particularly off the ball on defense, and they scored some really nice team tries as well. So that can give a young side producing a win like that a lot of confidence and can change the whole dynamic of your season. So um, yeah, I always like to see the Sharkies lose.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying getting around the clubs. I still haven't gone out to Tyree to have a chat with those guys, but hopefully
Yeah,
that in a couple of weeks I'll get out there and get them in here and talk to them and see how they're getting on and
yeah,
put a spotlight on what they're doing out at Tyree because I'd like to see the story on how they've turned things around from last season to now.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I'll try and focus on that. So.
totally.
Yeah, so we've got the long weekend this weekend, and the games are going to be on Thursday night
Yeah.
here. So, and we've got a double header at the stadium, so it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, what do we got? What are our? I know Southern's playing Zingaree. I haven't got to the other
Uh, so,
fixtures yet.
so the other game at the stadium will be GI University.
Yep.
I think they're playing at 6 o'clock, and then Zingaree Southern are playing at 7:45 at the
Nice.
stadium. So it should be a celebration of rugby out there. So that'd be fun. And then at Tahuna Park, you've got on Tahuna 1 Dunedin AU, and the Eels are playing out at Peter Johnson Park that night as well. So 6 o'clock
Great.
kickoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, yeah, hopefully get all the games on Sky Sport One for me, AC. But no, I mean, it's such a cool opportunity to play at the stadium, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
something that I can't say I'll ever do, but for these guys that go and watch the Highlanders and the All Blacks and Otago play, they get to step on the field themselves is a pretty special moment. And I'm actually really happy to see Tahuna Park being used as a rugby venue really frequently this year as well. I think it's a really awesome ground, and I'd love to see Otago take a game there in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I think it's a great little pitch.
It is because they redid all the lights and because of the Women's World Cup.
Yep,
And the facilities up, and it's a great facility for us to go play rugby. So it'd be great for them to get out there and use it more often.
100%.
Yeah,
Yep,
I think they used it last week for the Colts games and stuff like that. So that was really cool for them to do that as well.
totally. No, it's good, and I mean, yeah, we see obviously Dunedin and Hancock Park just down the road. There's some good grounds out there in South Dunedin. So and Bathgate Park as well. Can't forget
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That's the lighting thing. So hey, don't worry, I'm working on the lighting thing. So we'll see how we get on. Right, then, Wheels, I'll let you go, and thank you for your comments. Oh, hold before we go, did you have a try of the week?
Good question. No, I think one of Michael Manson's five would be try of the week. I think there was one where he got an inside ball around the breakdown, and then he bet the last defender had to run about 60 meters. Yeah, I think that was a really good individual try, but I mean, a couple of them he just turned defenders completely on their heels, and yeah, it was raw speed, but they're super entertaining to watch. So yeah, I guess tries of the week would be it would be Michael Manson.
Oh, sweet as. Cheers, Wheels. You go get some running done.
Yeah, exactly right. Thank you very much, Casey. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, man. Hey, AC here. Welcome back to the channel, and I've got some friends with me from Harbour. I've got Pete and I've got Darius. So welcome, lads.
Oh, hi, brother.
Yep. So hey, we'll kick into this straight away because you guys have got some training at 6.
Yeah.
Pete's putting the pressure on. So hey, we'll start with you, Darius. So you'll be wondering why I've asked you to come in.
Yeah, well, we'll find out now, eh?
Well, there's always a heartbeat in a team, right? And it's generally from the front row. And just talking to some of your teammates and stuff like that, you're that heartbeat that keeps the team banging along, and you're in that engine room. And I think, is that right, Stables, he made team of the week the first week or second week in? Yeah. So, your work levels are up there. And so that's why I've asked you to come in. Because you can have the stars of this world in your team, you're right. But generally the team is around a person that likes yourself, that they gather around, they follow, part of that leadership group. So how's that feel to be part of that?
Well, no, I appreciate the words, brother. No, it's pretty awesome. I mean, like naturally, I just love to connect with the boys and I guess share my experiences previously and what I've learned over in my rugby journey so far. So, but yeah, big on connection with the boys and just giving them 1% tips where I can and also learning off them too. I'm pretty open to learn from others who are better at their trade than me. So yeah.
Yeah, you need guys like you there, just banging along and just doing what you need to do. And it keeps it keeps the team together. And so for me, I want to know where your journey started. Where'd you come from?
So I was born in Melbourne, Australia, but raised in Christchurch.
Oh, yeah.
So all my family are over, most of my immediate family are in Christchurch.
Yeah.
And so I grew up in Christchurch and yeah.
Which club did you play for up there as a kid?
Well, if you're watching from back home, they call me a wee club hopper, they say. So I played for 3 clubs in Canterbury. My first one for seniors was Sydenham, and I played 2 years with a club called New Brighton.
Yeah.
And previously, the last 3 years, I've been with Lincoln University.
Yeah, and now you're down here?
And now I'm down here with the Hawks. Yeah, with Harbour.
Yeah, and Pete, where did your journey start? Because you've been coaching for a while, you've played a bit of footy, so where did you start from?
I'm born and bred in Southland, so
Yeah,
Waikaka actually to be approximate. So I've been involved with a number of clubs over the years. So originally Waikaka, and then I played for Marist in Christchurch. Actually had a season at Burnside in Christchurch as well. Yeah. And then when I came back to Dunedin, played for AU. So, and then I had a mate at work who was playing for Varsity Twos.
Yeah.
Or Bs back in the day as they called them, and he said, "Do you want to come along and watch a few games?" So I came along, and then the next season they asked if I wanted to coach Colts. So started coaching Colts there and coached the Varsity Junior Colts for 3 years, the Prem Colts for 3 years, and then moved into the A's for 5 years, and then a couple of years with JL and Case and Craig at Southern.
Yeah.
And then I really wasn't going to coach this year, but Lance and Brian Greer approached me and said, would you be interested? We've got something exciting happening at Harbour. Would you want to be involved? And they sold me the story, I guess, AC, and and here we are now. Yeah, I'm in the Harbour gear.
Yeah, because I seen you at the end of that season, and you look done. Like when you see someone, you can see it in their eyes. Yeah. You can see it in their posture. Yeah. And you look done. Yeah. And then when I came out and interviewed you about a month ago, I seen that sparkle in your eyes. Yeah. And that was the best thing I'd ever seen. You know what I mean? It's like you can see it, right? You can see that you're on board with what these.
It's pretty exciting. But I remember Roy Hawker, because I coached with Roy for a long time, and he said, good coaches, they don't get bad, they just get tired. Yeah. And I guess that's probably where I felt, but I'm really enjoying it. It's a good environment down there. The club's put on a lot, they've made a lot of efforts with recruiting and making sure that everyone knows their role in the coaching positions. But the community down there is really awesome, and I'm really pleased to be part of it. Feels like family, So that's where you got to get to. That's
the truth, Like Southern's my family, Crescent's my family. I grew up in Clutha, the Clutha Club. And I'm always welcome when I go home, and you'd be the same for you. Yeah. But I always bang on about consistency, right? And how many championships have you actually won?
You're
going back through your Colts.
I won 6 Colts grades in a row, and then we won 2 Prem banners in a row. Yeah. And then we had a final against Tyree, and I always thought we'd win that final, but Otago took all our players and sat them all on the reserve bench against Manawatu, so we really struggled that day against a good Tyree side. But I've been fortunate with who I've been able to coach and be coaching with. So it's not about the head coach. It's as you know, there's people in the kitchen, people, your managers, your just ball boys, the whole lot. They all make a team. So, but I've been very fortunate with the teams that I've been involved with, and generally, at the end of the day, they're good people. It's the Scotty Robertson thing. Good people, and they make good rugby teams, and no one's better than anybody else. So that's how it works.
I think Harbour made a good decision to come and approach you, and to do that. And what are your thoughts on your coach, Darius? He's got the option. Throw him in the deep end, because I've known Pete for about 3 years now, and it's been really awesome to be a part of the team with them when he was coaching at Southern, and this is your first year with them. And one of the criticisms I had about Harbour was, how was Pete going to fit in with Craig, and how quickly the team can combine in pre-season and get off to a good start, and which actually you've done. You've done it. The starts you've done really well. So what are your thoughts with that?
I think it comes back to that word that I brought up at the start, connection. I think that's, since I've been around Pete, is probably definitely one of his strengths, is just bringing the boys together. And but he knows what kind of kettle sheep we have in our backyard, so he lets us do our thing, and when he needs to, he'll bring in his wisdom. for the boys. So the start of our journey has been pretty good. I mean, I know the journey is always up and down, but at the moment we're enjoying the ride.
Yeah. So did you go on that fishing trip?
Nah, I haven't debuted on the fishing trip yet, mate. A couple of the boys at the flat go fishing, but not on the boat. Just on the side of the road, mate.
Yeah. So, because we talked about what you were doing in your pre-season with trying to get the boys together, what part of that was the fishing. But I think you said there's a bit of the fitness, and you're in the program along at the university there.
Yeah.
So, how did your pre-season really go? It was really good for you guys?
We're really lucky to have Nathan Jones on board, and he's about to depart to go up to the Warriors actually. So
Shout out Nate Dogg.
He was formerly part of Melbourne Storm. So, and he's a real passionate harbour guy, and it's really easy. Like I say, when you got good people around you, you just let them take control and run it, and that's what he's done. And so we've had some really good fitness sessions. Yeah. Haven't we, Darius?
We've been in those trenches, mate.
And
grateful.
Because that's the first thing you need is a fit team.
Yeah.
So we've improved our fitness. I think the other thing too is that really worked on discipline, and such a big thing in the modern game, because you just lose momentum if you haven't got discipline. So we're always hunting sub 10. Yeah. That's the goal. As we did in Southern as well. Yeah. But I think also we've tried to keep everything pretty simple, because I can't do anything else. Yeah. So simple things done really well. It doesn't matter what grade you're in, will always be effective.
Yeah.
And we've got some good brains in there. Wise is awesome, and Craig, and we've got a guy who does analysis as well for us, and so it's all there. So for us, it's just to keep our feet on the ground. Like as Darius said, it's early days, and there'll be parts which get tough, and that's good. But singers put us under pressure for 20, 30 minutes, and I mean, I thought we were really well composed, and that's something that I've tried to encourage at Harbour, is that if teams score points against you, it's not the end of the day. No.
Because when I go look back on that game that you guys had against Zingaree, Zingaree blew 4 tries, but you were an 80-minute side, and to see young Rico steering that defence, and
mate, absolute talent, that bloke.
Absolute talent. And the way he steered you guys around, and to be an 80-minute side, and the discipline is the biggest difference from for this year, and which is really I've really enjoyed watching. Yeah. And everyone likes enjoying good footy. So it's hats off to you and Craig for that, and the team you have there, and the boys, because they've got to listen to you.
Yeah. I think like getting back to Rico, I mean, he just lives rugby. That's his passion,
Turns into a different bloke in the code, mate. If you see him at home, mate, he's a whole different bloke. He's just chilled out, mate. When the switch flicks, mate, it flicks, and he lives and breathes code.
Yeah. So you got Waisaki there with you. So what's like having him in the camp and playing alongside with him? Because he seems to be a pretty humble sort of a guy.
Wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I don't know about that guy. No, he's an awesome teammate, and even better mate off the field. I mean, he's just for the boys, I guess. But he also brings that rugby content knowledge, which has been pretty massive for us, Pete?
Yeah, he's great. He's good on that.
Yeah, well, obviously a good player. I mean, we don't need to talk about his past, but mate, absolute weapon.
I think he's still got a future. I think he's still got a few more seasons in him.
100%, mate. 100%.
Yeah. I'd love to see him with the gold oval on his shirt, playing for Otago in the NPC. I'd love to see that happen.
I'll keep on saying to him each week, you're starting wise. Your starter goes, oh no, I've got to come off the bench this week. So we're just waiting for him to start actually. So
I heard his tackles were a wee bit high at the start.
No, he's got that institutional knowledge at a higher level that he can bring down and help the guys like Wiremu Brayley, who's pretty, he's going to be a talent.
Yeah, 100%.
And we've got like Luca Fuller when he comes back, he's another talent. So those guys are going to be learning off the best, and that's what it is. It's about training dogs. You've got a more experienced dog and a young dog, and they learn well together, and that's how it's going to work.
And Taylor's doing really well. Like, he's leading from the front. So.
Yeah. Look, I have to say this. I'm so surprised he hasn't played for Otago. He's a big man. He technically does everything right, and I just think that he's hopefully one day they'll realise that he's a talent, and give him an opportunity to wear that Otago jersey, which ultimately is all players' goals that we have.
And that's the one. So I know you guys got to go get some training done, so I'm going to let you go now. And thank you for the chat, and thank you guys for coming in and giving me your time. And it's really great to meet you guys. And we'll catch you on the sideline on AC, and we'll catch you later.
Cheers.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Thank you.
I'll tell you why. It's just because I'm gonna break through to you. It's when the signs are all pointing true. If it's the last thing I'll ever do, I'm gonna break through to you. Turn the whole world around. My door's wide open now, come on in. Sit right down and let this show